On September 25, 1984, the Sycamore View Church of Christ celebrated the grand opening of the Family Life Center. 40 years later, it continues to be a part of our facility that is used daily to create a safe place for connection. My name is Joe Godley, and I served as the minister at Sycamore View for 32 years, 27 of those years as youth minister, before retiring in 2010. After launching the Sycamore View Church in 1978, the first few years brought incredible growth. We knew we needed additional space to accommodate the growing needs of our church and community. In 1982, I traveled to Dallas with a few church leaders throughout Memphis to visit some of the fastest growing churches in Texas and in Oklahoma, including the Garland Road Church of Christ, which would soon become the Highland Oaks Church of Christ, and the Richland Hills Church of Christ. We wanted to know how they use their facilities to provide a safe place for connection, activity, and growth. We came back with all kinds of dreams and ideas. When I returned to Memphis, a vision was cast within the Sycamore View leadership to implement Wednesday night dinners, increase the use of our small groups, and the concept of a Family Life Center. The Family Life Center would provide a venue for an array of community and church-wide activities. Let me say, I give God all the glory for lighting the fire of community outreach in our hearts back in 1982. We knew it was a risk. There were not many churches of Christ that had gymnasiums, and those that did, well, they were frowned upon and often written up in publications. We knew our reputation was on the line because churches with gyms were thought to be liberal, maybe out there. Yet we knew this was a risk worth taking. Our children and our various adult ministries were the lifeblood of Sycamore View. Upon casting the vision for this additional space, one of our families donated the steel needed for the construction of the building, and the funding came along with the vision. Throughout the history of our church, when people catch hold of a vision, generosity follows. On September 25, 1984, the new facility was opened, and we leaped into action. We created youth sports program. We started adult recreational ministries like volleyball, bowling, and softball. We added youth baseball and girls softball. ID cards were actually handed out for members to use the basketball courts during the off times. The game room, which also included a donated pool table, foosball, and video games, and some ping pong tables. These things were used during open play. Scores of Sycamore View members donated their time as coaches, facility volunteers, and cooks. God used these talents to invest in our local children, disciple them, and teach them athletic skills. We even won a few city championships in basketball. Within the first year of opening the gym, called the Family Life Center, we hosted sports banquets, fellowship meals, the first annual law enforcement breakfast, even a fifth quarter, which we had over 100 teenagers coming from all over the city on a Friday night after a football game for fun and fellowship. Some of our local high schools used our facility for band and chorus banquets as well. A group from Freed-Hardeman University came and used the Family Life Center for a retreat, which is where Stoney and Leanne Ramsey first began to date, and well, the rest is history. 40 years later, it is impossible to put a number on how many people have been blessed by this space. From clothing sales, to Boys and Girls Club, to fellowship meals, and many other events, thousands of people have discovered a touch of God and the power of community through the Family Life Center. Decades ago, God gave us a vision to think about this campus as a community hub, and just look at the ways God has worked. The DNA of Sycamore View Church is that we aren't afraid to dream big dreams because we serve a big God. The story of what God is doing in this location is far from over, and I am honored that I got to play a part of it. And that is the story of God that's still being written.